Hey everyone, if you've ever stopped and wondered exactly how tiny, seemingly insignificant little insects can literally bring down massive, solid structures, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're diving into an explainer that takes a deep biological look into the incredibly coordinated, hyper-efficient, and, quite frankly, destructive power of termites. And we're going to do this by putting them through a series of escalating tests. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the challenges our insect protagonists are going to face today. We've got Trial 1, the intruder test, Trial 2, the feast, Trial 3, the labyrinth, and of course, the final boss, the mini house. So let's start by talking about the sheer volume of our subjects here. 1,000. Now, a single termite on its own, it's incredibly small, almost harmless looking. But when you put 1,000 of them together in a swarm, the speed and the sheer coordination they operate with becomes absolutely mind-blowing. And that brings us to the ultimate stakes of this explainer, right out of the gate. Think of it as an epic man versus nature style showdown. We have 1,000 hungry termites going up against one solid mini wooden house. Can they completely devour it? Well, to understand their capability to destroy, we first have to understand how they build and engineer their world right from the very first second. Just look at how fast they get to work. The moment they're placed in a dirt container, there's instant swarming. The tunneling begins immediately. And within just 3 hours, they manage to construct these incredibly intricate networks across the entire floor. Honestly, it's way faster than a colony of ants ever could. All right, moving right along to Trial 1, the intruder test. We wanted to see what happens when a foreign entity, in this case just a small harmless bug, is dropped straight into their newly excavated territory. So the bug starts digging around, and immediately these highly specialized soldier termites deploy. They're equipped with these massive jaws, and they're specifically designed to protect the nest at all costs. The tension here is palpable. The swarm gathers around the bug, and it totally looks like a coordinated lethal attack is imminent. But then, something genuinely surprising happens. As this quote points out, there is no reason to waste energy attacking a harmless bug. Since this specific termite species exclusively eats wood, they are surprisingly pacifist toward non-threats. The swarm literally just ignores the bug. They walk right past it as if it were a bridge and actually just let it live peacefully right there, among them in the nest. Crazy, right? So that brings us to Trial 2, the feast. Okay, so the colony has now been inside their enclosure for a full day without any food, and they are absolutely starving. This makes it the perfect time to test their dietary preferences. We present them with two options. On one side, we have natural tree bark, and on the other side, just a standard piece of cardboard. So which one do they prefer? You'd probably assume they'd swarm the natural bark right away, right? Well, wrong. They completely ignored the gourmet natural wood. Instead, they bizarrely swarmed the edges of the cardboard, literally packing themselves into the tiny corrugated holes like clowns in a clown car. Now, we gotta slow down for a second, because the hidden biology making this bizarre diet possible is just incredible. Termites actually can't digest wood or cardboard on their own. They totally rely on flagellates. These are over 100,000 microscopic living organisms residing inside a single termite's body. When the termite chews, it's these microbes that do the actual digesting. So every single termite is basically a walking metropolis for these invisible creatures. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how they actually coordinate a feeding frenzy. So after ignoring that natural wood for half an hour, a single scout finally steps onto the bark. It releases an invisible chemical pheromone right into the air. The entire colony senses that signal, and boom, that bark is completely swarmed from top to bottom in just 5 minutes flat. It is a flawless, rapid-fire communication cascade.
All right, time for Trial 3, the labyrinth.
For this one, an empty aquarium is transformed into a dirt maze to really test their collective problem-solving skills. Right upon entry, one termite, a little cheater, decides it's not going to play by the rules and navigates right over the top of the plastic walls. Now, even though that specific termite hits a dead end, the rest of the colony actually learns to follow its chemical trail. By working together, they figure out the correct path, beating the maze and reaching their wood target by the very next day. And now, the moment we've been building toward. The final boss, the mini house. Having proven their intelligence and teamwork, the 1,000 termites are unleashed on their ultimate prize. A solid mini house is placed inside, soaked with water to give them that vital moisture they need. But 24 hours later, the house is sitting there completely untouched on the outside. Why? Well, it turns out termites are actually incredibly slow eaters. Their true danger doesn't lie in rapid, visible, movie-style destruction. It lies entirely in their absolute secrecy. But to see what's actually going on, we have to look through a camera placed inside a tiny hole in the roof. And inside, it's a completely different story. They use highly secretive destruction methods, swarming the walls, and eating the structures entirely from the inside out. It's wild. When the camera light hits them, you can actually see them vibrating their heads rapidly. It's this brilliant, albeit slightly creepy, mechanism they use to signal danger to the rest of the colony. At the same time, they are super busy building these tiny mud balls out of soil, saliva, and chewed wood. This helps them maintain the vital moisture they need to survive, all while they slowly but unstoppably devour the house from within. Now, at their natural pace, it will realistically take them months to fully hollow out that mini house. But the thing is, they will never stop working in the dark. Which brings us to a final thought for you to consider today. If 1,000 tiny termites can begin hollowing out a solid structure in absolute secret without leaving a single trace on the outside, what is happening right now, completely out of sight, inside the walls of your own home?